All right, guys. Good evening, everyone. And I'm your host for today. My name is Arman, and I'm a offensive security certified professional. I'm a CH CISA, CSFPC, and ISA, and I'm one of the youngest hackers of India. I was also the youngest to be selected for the Stanford's Advanced Cybersecurity Program. And today's seminar is going to be very amazing. Not particularly seminar; it's a webinar. Yeah, so today we would discuss about a path to OSCP, the hardest examination in the field of cybersecurity. We are not considering SANS because that's a particular another niche to talk about. So today we would be covering what are the basics you should know for OSCP, how particularly the lab environment comes in OSCP exam, and moving on, I would share my personal journey, my personal tips for or clearing the exam. And the best part about that is why I am the right person to be here is I am also one of the fastest people to clear the OSCP exam. Those who know that the OSCP exam is of 48 hours, including the report making time, I cleared it in just 4 hours, including report. Though I played, I got 70 points. I got the passing marks in just 4 hours. And within the fifth hour, I made the report. I could easily get passed in the OSCP exam, but I wanted 100 out of 100 or 110 out of 100. So 10 marks is for the bonus. So that's how the stories hold on to another level. So we would be starting with the basics of cybersecurity. Hope my voice is nice and clear. If you could type a quick yes onto the chat box, it would be really great. I want everyone to have full enthusiasm. And if you may have any doubt, just pile it up onto your brain. And in the last, we would have a Q&A about the career guidance. What are the specific paths which you should follow, and how exactly to you should crack OSCP in your first attempt. Till now only 700, 800 people in whole world have OSCP certifications. So it's not about the hard work you do; it's more about the methodology you have. All right, guys, let's start. So, what really cybersecurity is all about? I would let you know. So, firstly, it comes the introduction of cybersecurity. So, when we are dealing with anything related to the computer's network, yeah, the training would be a beginning in a few days, and you need to be in touch for that. So, when we deal with cybersecurity, so anything that's related to the computer networks or onto a online media, it's relating to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is very vast, guys. It has ethical hacking, mobile pen testings, and smart contracts, development, DevSecOps. So a lot of things. Why we need to be in touch with cybersecurity? Because firstly, it's a global market. The market share is increasing day by day. And the second particular thing, why you should be in touch with all these things is that there are a lot of cyber attacks happening in different mediums. For example, your bank account frauds are happening. The blockchain hacks are happening. In the recent times, you might have heard about a group known as Lockbit, the ransomware attack specialist, and which were against the FBI. So it's on a really hike right now. The career opportunities are great in cybersecurity. Uh, Considering the flow that you are skilled, you are well educated, and you are in touch with the latest technologies, latest CVs. When I say CVC stands for common vulnerabilities and exposures. All right. So in India, cyber laws, every crime under cybersecurity is covered under the cyber laws. Firstly, the cyber crimes are covered under the Information Technology Act, commonly known as the IT Act 2000. These are some of the common sections you should know while you report the cyber attack. Sorry. So, tampering with computer source documents. Now, what is computer source documents? Anything that originates from a computer. It may be a music file, it might be a doc file, it can be a pen drive, it could be a floppy disk. Anything that relates to a computer is known as computer source documents. So let's say, let me explain with you with the help of a flow chart. That would be really interesting. Uh, Everyone can see my paint screen. So if a person A is over here and here is over person B. So if a person B has a specific pen drive and this pen drive has some data, it might be any data. If A tries to tamper this data, might change this data, delete this data, modify its data, so it's a cybercrime because it's a computer source document and it would be covered under IT Act 2000 under Section 65. Right. Moving on, Section 66, hacking with computer source, computer systems or unauthorized usage of computer systems and networks. For example, I am using unauthorized means to get access over someone else's PC is known as hacking, right? Or unauthorized access. Now, let me give you a very interesting example. You won't believe me. For example, you and your colleague is working in an office. If your colleague went out for a refreshment break and his PC is locked, and without his consent, if you are trying to look into his PC now, that's also a cyber crime. It doesn't matter that colleague is best friend of yours or he is the same employee of the same company. If you are trying to do anything without his permission, he can sue you in the court saying that he or she is trying to access my PC. Same goes for the mobile phones, pen drives. If you like a pen drive is attached to my PC and without even my permission, without my consent. See, in law, consent matters a lot. Anything that is against the consent, so I can sue you under this particular IT Act. Moving on, identity thefts using passwords, digital signatures, biometric thumb impressions is covered under Section 66C. If I misuse your password, I misuse your digital signatures that are commonly used for the income tax filings nowadays, I would be a criminal, right? Hope this is clear. If it's clear till now, you can just drop a quick thumbs up in the chat box. If the IT Act thing is clear, the cyber laws are being cleared. Just drop a quick thumbs up, guys, so that we move ahead with the motives of cyber attacks. Okay. So, what are the possible motives behind cyber attacks? See, everyone wants to gain money. Everyone wants money, right? Sabka sapna, money, money. So first and the foremost motive is financial gain. Everyone does hacking for the purpose of financial gain, regardless of whether it's ethical or non-ethical. By what means they gain money, everyone wants to have some money. The second motive is political motivation. Now it's the time of elections. During the time of elections now, a lot of fishy things come up in the social media platforms against the political parties. So I won't name the parties, so they hire hackers against each other so that some fishy things might surface up, and the public reputation of that other party is damaged, right? Moving on, third thing is recognition. Everyone wants their picture to be in the front page of a newspaper. Now, there could be two types of media articles related to you. Firstly, he or she is a very great hacker. He protected this company and a lot on. Second thing, he is the fraudster of the year, right? So recognition to hoga, whether it's positive or negative recognition. Got my point, everyone? Recognition तो जरूर होगा, but it's totally dependent upon you whether it's a positive recognition or negative recognition. Fourth and the most important is corporate espionage. Corporate espionage is divided into two terms, guys. First, corporate, that means business. Espionage means rivalry. Taking a very interesting example, you won't believe, a few years back, I got a proposal from some fishy people that you get us the client data of this particular company who were dealing in solar panels. So, what was the purpose of them to get the data of the users of those solar panels? Let's say there are two people who are dealing in the same industry. Let's say there's a person A who has been in the solar panels industry for last 10 years. How much marketing it might have done, client acquisition, everything to gain a client base. It's so easy for a person who's a new competitor into the market to simply hack the database of their company and get all the client data, which includes their emails, their phone numbers, their first names, and their last name. Getting my point, everyone? So they try to hack their systems to get the relevant client data to whom they can market the same product. Making the example very much relative to you, if Amazon hires hackers against Flipkart, so the only motive, it's just a hypothetical example to make you understand, guys, they deal in the same market. They are dealing in the e-commerce sector. So the client base is same. Relatively goes for the other companies, whether it's cooking industry, whether it's steel industry. So it's the whole concept of corporate espionage. Second last point is insider threats. As the name suggests, if a person inside your company is leaking out some information to an outsider, that might be very hazardous for you and your organization. It's known as insider threat. Ghar ka bhedi lanka dhai, you might have heard it in the context of Ramayan, कि जो अंदर वाले लोग हैं, the people who are beneath the organization, who are inside the organization, are more riskier than the people outside. Last point, state actors. Now it's a state with capital S. Now, when there is a state with capital S, na, it represents the nation, not the individual state, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat. No. When a state with great S means it's referring to countries. Two countries hire hackers against each other. Let me tell you a very interesting case scenario. Everyone knows about the war going on with Russia and right. So the in that war scenario now, countries have engaged into the cyber warfare. They hack the IoTs, the Internet of Things, and they try to disrupt their communication systems. They try to do a cyber warfare with them. It's not legal to tell what exactly they do, but let me give you outline. Nowadays, now in the oil refineries, nothing is manual. Everything is being controlled with the help of a hardware or firmware. Getting my point, guys? So if anyone of a malicious intent hacks the machinery of a oil refinery, you might have an idea that what possibly could go wrong. Getting my point, everyone? Write a quick yes. I can't say it on the live that what potentially could go wrong. They can mix two bad things and it might lead to a very tragic incident. So it's all about the IoTs, the Internet of Things. Aajkal nothing is manual. Everything is being controlled with the computers. So if they hack into that particular thing, they need not to fight with guns. They can harm the other country with a lot of other ways also. So that's the criticality of cybersecurity. Then moving on to the type of cyber attacks, guys. There are numerous types of cyber attacks. I can't even name all of them, but these are the most prominent ones. First is the malware attack. Now there are various kinds of malware. To make the context easy, malware is specifically a type of malicious code which we inject into the victim's PC to gain some unauthorized advantage. It could be a virus, it could be a worm, it could be a Trojan, it could be a rootkit. Secondly, password attack. Now, let me ask you guys that what is the most common type of password attack? सबसे common password attack क्या है? Whether it's brute forcing, it's rainbow attack. What's the most common type of password attack? Priyanka says brute forcing. Okay, anyone else? Brute force. Okay. Let me tell you guys, the most common type of password attack is password guessing. We does that particular attack since we were 4 or 5 years old. When we want to open our siblings phone, what we do, we guess the password. So the most common type of password attack is password guessing. Even professional bug penetration testers, when they do a white box pen testing, where no information is available to them, they guess the passwords. They try default credentials, right? They try default creds. So that's password guessing. They try to guess that whether the password is admin, whether the password is root. So the most common type of password attack is password guessing. The second is brute forcing. Everyone knows about it. The third type of attacks is dictionary attack. How dictionary attack works is we are into a particular web application using a tool known as Cewl, CEWL. We can make a custom word list depending upon that particular website and then use that particular word list to do the password attack that's known as a dictionary attack, where we create a custom dictionary. Fourth kind of attack is denial of service attack. Denial of service attack means excessively sending a lot of traffic to a particular web application so that it becomes irresponsive. Now, this is a live class. I might have shown you the real time denial of service attack on one particular website, but it's against the norms. So, I have shown in the live seminars, but let's not do that here. So there are two types of denial of service attacks. First is normal denial of service, and the second is distributed denial of service. The only difference between them is denial of service attack normally is done from a one PC, and distributed denial of service is done from a botnet. Systems, the compilation of a lot of compromised PCs from different sources. It's known as denial of service, and you might not be aware about a different kind of denial of service that's known as application denial of service. So normally the denial of service attacks are onto the network level, but the application denial of services are onto the application level. The website becomes irresponsive for the users, maybe for you or maybe for all of the users, right? Moving on, SQL injection attacks, where we use the SQL queries to get the databases, to get the data back from a particular website. It's known as SQL injection attack. Everyone clear till now? I guess it's should be crystal clear to everyone. Everyone, please drop a yes so that I know what's the current status of you guys. Okay, good, perfect. Who is a hacker? A hacker is an individual who uses computer, networking, and other skills to overcome a technical problem. Hackers हमेशा बुरे नहीं होते. They are not always bad. So hacker is particularly a very intelligent person, but there are three types of hackers. Firstly, it's a white hat hacker. Okay, a white hat hacker is a person who tests systems, networks by trying to break into them. Okay, and they report that particular loopholes to the company. White hat hackers are the good people like me. I'm very good. Okay. Second, gray hat hackers, they are somewhere middle of good and bad. If they get more money by doing the bad thing, they would do the bad thing. If they get more money by doing the good thing, they would do that. So they are known as gray hat hackers. Black hat hackers are totally very bad people. They are full time into the malicious stuff. They hack people for ransom. They break into security agencies. They break the laws. So they are totally onto the bad side. Got it? They are totally bad people. So let's come to the most important element of cybersecurity, guys. The CIA triad. CIA triad stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Everyone might know, have a rough idea about it. So confidentiality means if I am sending a file to a particular person, he or she should not share that particular file with someone else, meaning the confidentiality of that particular thing should remain intact. Secondly, integrity. Now integrity is very important nowadays. Let's say I sent a message hi. I sent a hi to one of my friends, and by the time it reached that person, it converted to bye. My friend would break friendship with me. That means the integrity of that particular document is compromised. जो मैंने भेजा वो तो पहुंचा ही नहीं. I write hi. By the time it reads, it converted to bye. So to maintain the integrity, a mathematical formula of checksum was being introduced, that the particular message was converted into a mathematical formula, and by the time at the source of receiving that particular document, the checksum was verified. अब हाई का चेकसम बाय से मैच नहीं होगा. द चेकसम ऑफ हाई वुड नॉट मैच विद बाय, clearly depicting that the integrity of that particular message was compromised. Got it, guys? Clearly denoting that the integrity of that particular document was compromised. Thirdly, availability. It simply means the right information should be available to the right person at the right time. Okay. Moving on, stages of hacking. Now, from here, particular hacking methodology starts to build. There are 5 stages of hacking. You would say, sir, either to 6 likhe, how you are saying 5. So the 6th stage of report making is only for the penetration testers who work for companies. They need to make a report that how they cracked into a particular system, how they break into it, and a lot of stuff, right? So first is reconnaissance. Reconnaissance का दूसरा नाम is information gathering. The other name of reconnaissance is information gathering. Now there are 2 types of reconnaissance. We would read it in the next slide. Then after reconnaissance, हमने information gather कर ली. We gathered a lot of information. The second thing we would do is we would scan that particular IP address. In hacking, we deal with IP addresses or websites, guys. Then we would scan that IP address. After scanning, we might know that what are the loopholes, what are the weaknesses in that particular IP. Then we would try to gain access. Once we gain the access, we would try to maintain the access. Okay. Once we hack a system, we need to maintain the access in order to do persistent damage to that particular thing. Then once we did our work, we are done with everything, we need to clear our tracks. चोर भी तो चोरी करने के बाद सबूत मिटाता है ना. They clear the tracks. We in the same way need to clear our tracks. Then we should make a report for the company that by using these steps, I was able to hack into your particular company. Got my point, everyone? Firstly, we do the information gathering, we do the scanning, we gain the access, we maintain the access, we clear the tracks, and we make a report. Got it? Moving on. What are the types of footprinting? There are 2 types of footprinting. Now you would ask, sir, footprinting to padhaya nahi. What's footprinting? Footprinting is the other name of reconnaissance, guys. Information gathering, reconnaissance, footprinting are the same things. Firstly, it's active footprinting. Second is passive footprinting, where we use Google, Baidu, Yahoo search, the any kind of search engines to gain insight of a particular company. हम information gather कर रहे हैं passively without directly interacting with the target. It's covered under the passive footprinting. Moving on, when we directly interact with the target, so the difference between information gathering is, in information gathering, we gain information about the domain name, the subdomains, the emails, the usernames. Scanning means we scan the IP address, that what are the particular services running on that particular IP, on what ports it's running, what are the loopholes in that. When we would do the practical, after this discussion, you would get to know what's the difference between information gathering and scanning. We would scan the entire network. So the difference between active and passive is, in passive, we don't directly interact with the target. In active, we interact with the target. Now, what are the methods of doing footprinting? We do Google dorking. Now, what's Google dorking? Let me show you guys what's Google dorking. For example, I want BCom notes. If I would write BCom notes, a lot of particular senseless information would come up. But if I specify I want the file type to be PDF, now only PDF data would be shown to me. See, I customized my query to get the desired results. That's a method of dorking. Now you would say, sir, what's so sensitive about that? I would tell you. So if I do go to Google hacking database now, Google hacking database is a compilation of a lot of docs which we can use to get sensitive data. For example, if I write here webcam, so for getting a webcam access now, I can use this particular doc. Now you would understand why this is very risky. See guys, this is the live webcam of a particular thing. I don't know where it's running right now, but in the similar ways, you can get the webcam of a lot of companies if they are vulnerable, right? And you can even get the webcams of someone's home also. One time I was doing some fun hacking with one of my colleagues, and we came across the webcam of a particular home. It was US, if I'm not wrong. It was a webcam of US, and the lady was beating his husband on the webcam, and there were no passwords over there. Once I got the webcam of New York City, so you can't even believe that how disastrous can it be for a hitman. For example, a hitman wants to gather intel of someone, and he has the access of a webcam in New York. He can totally survey anyone at any time. Getting my point, getting the criticality that if your webcams are not protected with passwords, how wrong possible it could go. The second thing is VoIP and VPN services. VoIP is voice over internet protocol, and VPN, we can do the reverse image search. Now, the most prominent example of reverse image search is Google Lens. Let's say I went to a mall, and someone is selling me a t-shirt for $100. Right. I think that it's a bit costly. I scan that particular t-shirt, and Google tells me that this t-shirt is available for $50 online. So that's a clear example of reverse image search in simple words. Okay. Moving on, IoT search engines, Internet of Things search engines. So the last is advanced search. We customize YouTube queries now that show me a video of less than 2 minutes uploaded today. So that's how we customize the Google search, right? We can customize it a lot to get the particular results about that particular thing. So when we do the scanning now, when we scan the IP addresses, we do two things. Firstly, our main focus is to determine that what OS is running, what operating system the IP address is using. Now, the commands of Linux doesn't work on Windows, and the commands of Windows doesn't work on Linux. So, if we hack into a particular system now, so there's a misconception that you would ask me that, sir, when we try to hack into a system, we do we get a graphical user interface of that particular system? क्या हमें ऐसी ही सेम स्क्रीन दिखती है जब हम हैक कर लेते हैं किसी पीसी को? द आंसर इज नो. वी ओनली गेट अ टर्मिनल. टर्मिनल जैसे हमारे पीसीज में होता है टर्मिनल, वी गेट द टर्मिनल एक्सेस. सो वी नीड टू डिस्कवर द ओएस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर टारगेट टू नो हमें विंडोज की कमांड्स लिखनी है या हमें लिनक्स की लिखनी है. द सेकेंड थिंग इज पोर्ट एंड सर्विस डिस्कवरी. We need to see what services are running on what ports. That's the whole flow of scanning. And moving onwards, ways of gaining access. The first is social engineering. हम क्या करते हैं? We employ methods of social engineering. I would say to one of the employees of a particular company, your boss is my friend, and I want to meet you. So I am totally playing bluff and my main motive is to get into the particular company's premises. Second thing is sophisticated penetration that we guys do, we professional hackers do. The second thing is website hacking. Then we exploit the vulnerabilities. Insider attack, I know, told you already that it's ghar ka bedi lanka hai. And what are the ways of maintaining access? Firstly, backdoors. We create a particular program which acts as a backdoor. हम single click करते हैं, we gain the access of that particular PC. And yeah, next is privilege escalation, a very important concept in hacking. You might know that there are two types of users in a PC. Everyone knows, na? Say yes, guys. There are two types of users in a PC. One is normal users, and the second is admin and root users. So if we hack into a PC as normal user, to gain the full access of that PC, we need to escalate our privileges. हमें admin बनना पड़ेगा Windows में and हमें root बनना पड़ेगा Linux में. That's the concept of privilege escalation. The third thing of maintaining access is stealth. Now, this is one of my favorite things. Let me tell you a very interesting story. Want to listen a story of real life hacking, guys? When I hacked my school's PC. Now, how exactly that happened is I was the stealthiest kid in my school and I had a lot of tech knowledge. And everyone knows in Indian schools, there's one PC where every question paper is made by the teachers. In every school, there's one PC, na? On every teacher sits and sets the paper. So one day the PC was malfunctioning and my teacher know that Arman had the knowledge of all this stuff, and she said me that Arman, please fix this thing. At that time, what I did, I installed a particular malicious exe file. It was a 2007 Windows. Okay, it was 2007 Windows because schools doesn't give a shit about their security, right? So it was a 2007 Windows and it's damn vulnerable. I placed a malicious exe file, and at the same time, I used to carry mobile with me, and in my mobile I had the Kali Linux installed. My teachers know that I am the guest lecturer at my school now for cybersecurity. Even I told it in the seminar itself when I went to the school. So I had my phone, I had my Kali working. I executed that particular exe. It was linked to my IP address on my mobile phone, and I got the shell. And once I got the shell, I rushed back home and I transferred that shell to my PC. And now I thought that it's a really good idea to stay in the PC where papers are made. The second main issue while we do real life hacking is when the school timings would go off, they would shut down the PC, right? And once the internet cuts off, my connection would be disconnected. Everyone agrees with my point? Once the internet goes off for that PC, my connection would be vanished. Now, you won't believe what I did. I created a rootkit. How that particular thing works is I manipulated it in such a way that whenever the PC would on, Chrome would get launched, and once the Chrome is launched, I would get my shell back. Means if the PC is getting on at 9 a.m. and if my PC is working at the same time and I'm listening to that same port, to get this shell back, I usually use MSF console meterpreter to do these kinds of stuff. Once the PC would be on, Chrome launch होगा and Chrome launch होते ही मेरा shell मेरे को वापस मिल जाएगा. That's how I pertained onto that particular system for 42 days in my school computer. But what exactly happened was उन्होंने उसके बाद कंप्यूटर ही चेंज कर दिया. They changed the computer and sadly it was the end of my reign. And this is the concept of stealth, where I hid my malicious exe file with a process that's genuine. Can you guys think कि Chrome भी malicious हो सकता है? Chrome को भी हम malicious बना सकते हैं? No. That's the whole purpose behind stealth. Then the other thing is spywares. You can install a spyware on a particular PC where you can turn on the microphone, you can turn on the webcam of that particular device. Let me tell you again interesting story. You would say sir has a lot of stories. Beach में से there's a company known as MI. They had inbuilt uh, webcams in them. Everyone knows na, they had in some models they had the inbuilt webcams on their TVs. So someone hacked the TV of a home. So they can literally see, no one covers their TV's camera while they sleep, right? So it's a lack of privacy at the same time, and it's a major loophole at the company's perspective. A normal people can't even think that my damn PC is like my uh, TV is being hacked. Smart TVs are very dangerous. Exactly. You might have heard about it in the news. Their private movements get leaked. No one can ever think of in the wildest dreams कि हमारा TV hack हो जाएगा. So that's the complexity of this topic. Moving on, how to clear the tracks? We delete the payloads we executed. We delete the logs. We turn back the firewalls to normal. We would get to this discussion at the end, and let's do some real life hacking, guys. Let's crack a machine. You guys interested? Let's crack a machine real quick. You want me to do that? Okay. So I have already set it up the environment for you guys. Sub environment पहले से set है that which machine we would crack, and let's go for it. So I told you when we do hacking now, we only have the IP address. We only have the IP address, and in this case, our IP address is this 192.168.218 and so on. So to begin hacking now, someone asked me that, sir, what's scanning? So I would use a utility known as Nmap to scan this particular IP address. See, when I scan this particular IP address, it shows me 3 ports are open. Now there are total of 65,535 ports, guys. 65,535 ports हैं पूरे उसमें cyber security की दुनिया में, and they are running 3 ports. Now some ports are preoccupied by some services. जैसे SSH would run on only port 22, HTTP on 80, HTTPS will run on 443, and RPC bind is running on 111. अब let me explain you SSH क्या है, HTTP क्या है, RPC bind क्या है. SSH is basically a login mechanism for the employees to get to log in into a particular service even if they are not present in the office. So SSH is kind of a remote login. In simple words, not exactly, for a layman language. Secondly, port 80 HTTP क्या है? It's basic simple website. It's a simple website, guys. कुछ भी नहीं है. It's a simple website which is here. Now you would say, sir, this is a normal website. How would we hack into this? Here comes the part of methodology. See, to understand this concept now, I need to take you back a bit to make you guys understand this concept fully कि कर क्या रहे हैं. See, we have a OS. Let's say in this case we have Linux. On Linux na, we host a particular website. इतना सबको पता है, there is a backend of every website. Yes or no, guys? Just drop me a quick yes. Every website has a backend. They are being run on a particular OS. Yes. So they are hosting a website. So for hosting, they need a IP address. Now this IP address of hosting is the same IP address of this Linux. Not taking into account कि यहाँ पे कोई web application firewall है. Because in case of web application firewall, the IP is changed to protect this particular real IP. WAF IP चेंज कर देता है टू प्रोटेक्ट इट फ्रॉम रियल हैकिंग. अरे इट्स अ डेमो एनवायरनमेंट राजे. Arigila, it's a demo environment. It's a lab environment, not a real website. So the lab environment gave me this particular IP address to hack, right? So on this particular IP, 3 ports are running: port 22, port 80, and port 111. All right. And port 22 is running SSH, port 80 is running HTTP, and 111 is running RPC. So SSH, to log in into SSH we need a ID password, जो कि हमारे पास है नहीं. So अभी के लिए तो इस पे a big no. Ultimately after scanning, Abhishek, we would do the Q&A at the end of the session. Let's focus on the methodology first. So while doing scanning, we need to eliminate things na, ki where we should start from, and we don't have any information about RPC at this time, so we would cut. So for now, our methodology should be this HTTP. Ki we should firstly see this HTTP page. Everyone agrees with me, guys? Ki we need to do some sort of elimination na, ki kahan se start kare, right? So we should start from this particular website. Now we don't have a username, we don't have a password. Now there's another concept which you need to understand, that website host some services. There is terminology known as platform as service, PaaS, software as a service. Now these particular things are a software as a service. मतलब कंपनीज ने इन सर्विसेज को अपनी आईपी एड्रेस पे होस्ट किया हुआ है. Companies have deployed these particular services on their IP address. So my ultimate goal is to hack the particular IP address. So to ultimately hack the IP address, the terminology is known as RCE, remote code execution. So I need to get the remote code execution of a software service known as Drupal. So see, we can see there's a hack available for getting the direct access of that particular PC by using this vulnerable Drupal. But I would be using a utility known as MSF console. अब MSF console क्या करता है? It's basically a compilation of all the resources which we can use to hack into a particular thing. Got it, guys? अब मैं क्या यहाँ पे करूंगा? I would write search Drupal, because I am searching for exploit for Drupal na. There are 3 things which you should see while choosing an exploit. I wish everyone of you should clear OSCP. Now this is my personal tip to check which exploit would work. First thing, जिनके नाम के आगे exploit लिखा है, which they have exploit in front of them, these are exploits. And जिनके नाम के आगे auxiliary लिखा है, they are basically scanners to gather the information. Got it? Firstly, you should see which is exploit and which is auxiliary. The second thing you should see is what is the rank of these particular exploits. Always try to go with the exploits of rank excellent. Second thing. अब third thing is you should see कि कौन से exploits check किए गए हैं, कौन से नहीं किए गए हैं. Third thing. Then see कौन से exploits latest. Now the latest one is 2019 का, 2018 का. But in 2019 exploit, it says it's normal exploit, means it's not excellent. हमारे पास बचा कौन सा, guys? Be quick, answer me. Write in the chat box. हमारे पास बचा कौन सा? Considering all the 3 scenarios I have told you, which exploit we should run? Be quick, guys. तीनों चीजें चेक करने के बाद what is the most optimal choice for us? 2018 वाला ना? So we would write use 1. Now why I am writing 1? What's the number of this particular exploit? 1. So instead of typing the full name, I would write 1. Now for exploits to work na, we need 3 things. Firstly, the IP address of the particular target machine, the IP address of our machine, and the port number. अब ये चीजें कैसे पता लगी? इफ वी राइट ओवर हेयर ना, वी वुड राइट अ कमांड शो ऑप्शंस. In options, there are certain things which are necessary to be given, and there are certain things which are not necessary to be given. So we should focus on the necessary things. It asks of our host. Our host means the target host IP address. मतलब टारगेट का IP एड्रेस बताओ हमें. फिर on what port the service is running. Understandable. Then what is the IP address of your particular PC? Now let's start with the IP address of our PC. The IP address of our PC is this. In order to make the IP address R, so we would write set lhost and the IP address. Kar diya lhost set. Now it's asking, tell me the IP address of the machine you are hacking. R host batao mere ko. What I would do, I would say set R host. This. Now it says what port it's running. We already see it's running on damn port 80. ये देखिए, it's running on port 80. So port 80 is already there. Now what's the next thing, guys? We should exploit this particular thing. To exploit it, we would write exploit. As soon as we write exploit na, this hack would start working. ये क्या करेगा? It would send a malicious file, and in reverse it would get me the shell. Shell means the complete control of that particular Linux machine on which the entire website is hosted. We need to wait for 5-10 seconds for it to work properly. See, I got a shell. अब आप बोलेंगे सर ये तो खाली से आप हमें पागल बना रहे हैं, शेल कहाँ आया? अब you would say sir Linux shells looks like this ना. Who agrees कि Linux का shell तो कुछ ऐसा दिखता है with proper knowledge of everything? Who agrees कि ये तो खाली है, we didn't get any information. So to make it a fully functional shell na, we need to run a particular command. Now this is not a fully interactive shell. ये fully interactive नहीं है. This is a shell which is not fully interactive. To make it a fully interactive shell, we would run this command. अब तो guys ये लग रहा है एक Linux system जैसा. Yes or no? It's looking like a Linux system now. Yes, we hacked that particular IP address. But the case over here is we don't have the root privileges. I am a normal user. I am just a normal user. मेरे पास कोई privileges नहीं है, guys. How I come to know that? Let me show you. To move back into a particular Linux system, I would use a cd command. And if I try to open the root command, it would say permission denied. I can't open the root folder. That means I don't have the permission to run root. Now, there are variety of ways to do the privilege escalation. मेरे पास रूट बनने के अनलिमिटेड तरीके हैं, बट एज बिगिनर्स हाउ वुड यू bifurcate that? What is the right method? So for that now we have a utility known as linpiece. What linpiece does is it tells me that what is the particular right method of gaining the escalated privileges. Now this is my whole folder where I have all the hacking tools. What I would do, I would make it a web server. मैंने क्या किया, इस पर्टिकुलर फोल्डर को वेब सर्वर बना दिया. आप बोलोगे सर व्हाट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, एक फोल्डर कैसे वेब सर्वर बन सकता है? लेट मी शो यू. मैंने अपना आईपी एड्रेस उठाया, and if I would try to convert it into a web server na, see, 1 second, it's http. See, whatever contents are here, वो contents यहाँ पे भी हैं. Yes or no, guys? Did I make my folder a web server? Yes or no? Yes. Why I did this? I would transfer my malicious tool linpiece into the victim's PC. Why I would do that? To know what is the most suitable way for me to escalate my privileges. मैंने क्या किया? I use the widget command. Widget command is to download this particular file from this particular IP into the victim machine. One second, guys. I made a typo. Now it's saying me cannot write linpiece.sh. अब ये क्या कह रहा है, जिस फोल्डर में आप लिखने की कोशिश कर रहे हो आप उसमें नहीं कुछ टाइप कर सकते. यू डोंट हैव द प्रिविलेजेस ऑफ राइटिंग टू दिस फोल्डर. नाउ हियर कम्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ हैकिंग, कि अगर आप एक फोल्डर में कुछ राइट ही नहीं कर सकते, यू कांट इंस्टॉल अ पर्टिकुलर थिंग ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर फोल्डर. हाउ वुड यू डू द हैकिंग? किसके दिमाग में ये क्वेश्चन आ रहा है गाइस? Say yes. किसके दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आ रहा है, सर इफ वी कांट इवन राइट a particular thing to a folder, how we would hack it? So the answer to this is in Linux na. Yeah, right. In Linux we go to the temp folder where we have the right privileges. So we would write cd temp, and we can write over here, we would write widget. One second. We would write widget and linpiece.sh. I installed linpiece onto this particular folder. It would take 10 5-10 seconds to load. We would wait till now, and I would run this linpiece to get an idea that what's the most optimal way for me to gain the. So temp folder is the only folder, bro, where we have the right privileges regardless of what user we are. हमें एक folder तो चाहिए ना कुछ install करने के लिए. So temp folder is the perfect folder where we have the necessary privileges for doing anything. So it's taking more time than I expect. Let's see. Let's wait a bit. Actually, in the lab environment, they are usually slow. So you need to keep your calm. I guess we have installed linpiece most probably. The linpiece is installed from here. It's uh it's lagging a bit, guys. Because in the demo environment now these things happen. You can't get away from these things. Let me see if my linpiece is installed or not. The linpiece is installed. Now we can't execute it straight away. We need to give it the executable permissions, which is using chmod. We gave it the executable permissions, and now we would launch it. So my linpiece would show me that what's the potential attack vector for getting this elevated privileges. You would say, sir, how we would know that? Now the things which are in red, which are in these, are 95%. They have 95% surety of being a privilege escalation vector. And वो लाल वाले में बोल रहे देख लेना, हो सकता है. So if we move down, I can see only red. I can't see a red yellow mix. I can't see a red yellow mix. Where I would see a red yellow mix, now I would be damn sure that this is the potential attack vector I need to jump on. If we move down, and till now I can't see a red yellow over here. See, red yellow, dikha guys? There is a red yellow. It says this particular. Now let me explain you what are the SUIDs. SUIDs are certain binaries which are running with the root permissions. Now it's saying this find binary is the potential attack vector. I say okay, I would have a look at it. So to have a look at it, what I would do, firstly I would close my web server. I would go to GTFO bins. I went to GTFO bins. What was the name of that binary, guys? Tell me fast. उस SUID का नाम क्या था? Be fast. What was the name of that SUID? Find, right? So I would write here find. Once I write find, it says if you run this command, na, you would get the root privileges. GTFO bin is telling me if you run this command, you would get the root privileges. I run this command, I enter at ID. Am I root, guys? Yes or no? Am I root? Yes, exactly. I'm a root user, and we cracked the full machine in just a case of time. Right, guys? We cracked the whole machine in just a few minutes. That's the way we do privilege escalation. And that's a just it's just a glimpse of how we do real hacking. And you would be mesmerized to know that I have found out security bugs on a very critical level, where I can delete any user, I can take over the entire organization. So that's a whole another concept. Now I would tell you what's the career paths in cybersecurity. Right? Everyone wants a career path. That how we can make career, what certs we need, and everything about it. Right? Now everyone wants it. Just there are 34 people watching. I want at least 20 yeses. Then only I would share the career path. Okay, now people are taking me seriously. Okay, so moving on, it's cybersecurity, guys. The parent head is cybersecurity. Okay, cybersecurity, as I told in the starting, is very vast field. It's bifurcated into various branches. First is offensive, defensive, compliance, right? Smart contracts, and the last one is cloud. So when I say offensive, offensive means you aggressively, we would have the Q&A in the last, guys. Every question would be sorted. Just give me 10 more minutes, right? So you actively test the systems and you report it to the companies. That's offensive. So the best path in going to offensive is do your CompTIA. I'm telling the easy path, then go for OSCP. After going OSCP, you should go for GIAC. It's not a necessary step, but in US, it's given a lot of uh, importance, and the job roles you get over here is of pen testers. Pen testers. Now the name could change. It they might say you network pen tester, web app pen tester, mobile pen tester. But yeah, your role is of pen tester. And I am taking the Indian salaries into account. It would start from somewhere around 8 lakhs, and you can get a job for freshers. I'm only uh, telling around 18 lakhs, depending upon your skill. In offensive, proper offensive, people might say they are giving a offensive role, but yeah, they are simply bullshitting. You will get 7 8 easily if you get a proper offensive role of pen testing. Second thing is defensive. For defensive, you should have your CompTIA. And if you are into this field for at least 5 years, you should go for a CISA exam or CIA SM exam. So these are the defensive. And in defensive, there are diverse job roles. They can be SOC analysts, SIM analysts, and Linux administrators. In defensive, the pay range is quite low as compared to offensive. It might start from 3 lakhs for freshers and go till 12 lakhs. I haven't seen a fresher getting more than that in uh, defensive. Uh, taking exceptional cases aside, guys, I'm talking about normal people in defensive. And then comes the compliance. Now, compliance is for the regulations, the people pursuing a law, and they could go in compliance like GRC compliance, HIPAA for the hospitals, PCI DSS. So these are basically consultants, the information security consultants. They get for freshers they get around 8 lakh to 15 lakhs. But this is a stagnant. This is kind of stagnant job where you need to just see that if is everything all right, is everything going fine. Then it comes to smart contracts. Now this is bloody my favorite, because smart contracts you need development experience a bit, not necessary. Then you should know defensive. You should be very good at cloud and offensive. So you should definitely have. So only people having four of these skills could go in smart contracts, and it's the highest paid. Uh, for smart contracts, you need at least 5 years of experience, and the pay scales are from 30 lakhs uh, till no limit, depending upon the company you have, because it's the technology is web3, and it's my personal favorite. And I am going to do my masters in February in this particular domain from one of the best institutions of the world, considered for cybersecurity. It's in Australia. And moving on to the cloud, for cloud you should know three technologies: AWS, Azure, and GCP. You should know their deployment as well as their pen testings, keeping in mind the OWASP, the security frameworks. You should know about OWASP, and it's pretty fine. It's somewhere same to compliance, but if you have cloud and offensive experience, you will get higher packages as compared to other people. Now, if everyone has get the hold of it, many people say, sir, how to start as beginners in cybersecurity. So my path of telling the beginners, everyone wants to know the path, na guys, that how exactly from beginners you should learn, what resources you should follow, right? So for beginners, you should start with network basics. It's same for all, whether it's the basics are same for all, whether you are on going on a defensive side, you are going on the offensive side. Then see how a web works, how a web application works, web working. Then you should go for Linux. You should know Linux भाई पीछा नहीं छोड़ेगा, चाहे तुम डिफेंसिव में जाओ, चाहे तुम ऑफेंसिव में जाओ. We would do the Q&A at the end of the session, guys. I already said. Then moving on to after doing Linux, if you want to go to the defensive side, then you can go for certs, right? Like CCNA and Red Hat Linux Administrator and so on, right? And if you want to go on offensive, my personal approach is, if your ultimate goal is to do OSCP, na, stick to what's totally get off the hold of that particular thing. Huh. Just keep in touch with the tgeneral playlist. Solve as much as machines you can solve from tgeneral playlist. Then try to get the hold of Active Directory, then appear for the OSCP exam. Once you cleared your OSCP, go for certification like CRTP, CRTO for total red teaming. These are proper red teaming, guys. If you are somewhere in a foreign country like Canada, Australia, bhai bahut paisa hai. Your packages would start from $1 lakh, and within 2 3 years it would reach up to and like a lot, 2.53. That's the whole career path you should follow. Yeah. So now I am up for questions. You can ask questions from today's basically the webinar. TGNL is a playlist, buddy, which is compiled by a particular person. It contains the labs which are very much relevant to the OSCP exam. It's very close to the. It's somewhere around 8 to 15 for a beginner, means a fresher which have skills. CH is a bit basic, and Pentest Plus is good. Okay. You want to take the screenshot of the path? Go ahead. And can we do, see, if I be honest with you, Agar your ultimate goal is OSCP, don't waste your money on CH. To be very precise, CH is 40, 50,000 cert, and it's not at all competitive according to me. If IP is assigned through DA, also has the public. Yeah, it might vary, Deepa. It might vary on a lot of factors. Generally, the for enterprise version, publics and private IPs differ. CompShare Security Plus, I was talking about CompShare Security Plus. See, pen testing is a part of red teaming. The recon process might differ from web application pen testing to network pen testing. See, in when we do the pen testing for clients, we do most of the recon like subdomain enumeration. Then we use a lot of automation. We use Shodan, we use sensors, we use the hunter, and a lot of things, guys. In OSCP, we would cover everything starting from information gathering, then Active Directory, Linux Prevesk, then the Windows Prevesk, how to do tunneling, how to apart from the OSCP, we would be covering the bug bounty also. We would be covering 100 plus bugs in bug bounty. I would tell you my custom strategies on how do I do the automation. I believe in both manual pen testing and automated pen testing. My automation is so good that I get bounties of worth $2,000 for $500 easily from doing my automation. Yeah, pen testing. Yeah, see, pen testing is not a different subject. Pen testing is the scientific name of that process, right? Which is best? Yeah, see, I am in red teaming for past 4 years. It's best you get a lot of money. To be very honest, if you are if you are hardworking, you are tricky about what you do. You have a monkey mind approach. See, I have given a name to my approach. It's monkey mind approach. Do you like the name, guys? Monkey mind means बंदर की तरह सोचो जो normal ना इंसान सोचे. You would get a way through it. The approach name is monkey mind approach. Just go, not go, मतलब सीधा मत सोचो. Don't think it as a simple way. Try to move around the web application, and you would get a lot of bugs. You want to see, you want to listen a story of my most interesting bug, guys, which I discovered on a web application. It was really good. So there was a web application. I won't disclose the name. It's of a gaming company, and you have played the game of that particular company. I won't disclose the company name. So usually when you log into a web application, you have a delete functionality. Yes, her web application mein there's a delete account functionality. In that particular web application, they didn't have the delete account functionality. So I was testing that particular web application, and there was a option to update the profile. Now, those who know some basics about hacking, they know there are HTTP methods like get, put, patch, post. Everyone knows about that ना. HTTP methods होते हैं कुछ. Get के, post, patch, put. सबको पता है. So I changed that particular HTTP method to delete. I changed that HTTP method from post to delete. When I forwarded that request, my account got deleted without any password confirmation. So that time my monkey mind approach kicked in. If I reported that bug as it is now, I wouldn't have got, I wouldn't have, see, CV, it can't be a CV because it was not a SaaS. It was not a service, software as a service. It was a inbuilt company's website. So I linked it to CSRF, and then when I linked it to CSRF, it got the severity of P2 because the account was getting deleted, regardless of it's an admin account or it's a normal user account. And I got a bounty of $1,000. So that's how thinking differently changes a lot. And one more story about this particular company is my client. We do the pen testings for that particular company. This bug was very interesting again. So how this particular bugs works is, uh, that for example I logged into a web application. There would be upcoming webinars for sure. So the dates would be, we would let you know the webinars dates for sure. You should go for red teaming. If you are looking for a dynamic job, you're looking for a highly paying job, go for a red teaming. So let me explain you the bug. When we register onto a web application, if my mail is abc.com @gmail.com, for example, so the website should not allow me to make a email. Let me explain you with the help of a flowchart. You would get a better understanding of what I am saying. See here, guys. If I register onto web application using like arman@gmail.com, if I signed in using this mail, the website should not allow me to make mails using this. It should not allow ar.man@gmail.com. All the dots, should be resolved. Right now, the voice is good. Actually, I have external mic, so thoda sa dur ho gaya tha. Yeah. So they should not allow me to make accounts with these permutations. Now, what I did was, there was no email confirmation on that particular website. Means if I register to a web application, I directly get the dashboard access. Got it? So when I created my account 1 with this mail, I created my account 2 with this mail. But if I change the password of this account, automatically the password of this account gets changed, because in the database they are treating these two accounts as one. सेम ही ट्रीट कर रहा है डाटाबेस के लिए, मैटर नहीं करता आप कहाँ डॉट लगा रहे हो. Now you would think, sir, इसमें critical क्या है? Ultimately both accounts are yours. Who thinks this? कि what's critical in that? ये bug कैसे है? Anyone can raise their hands who thinks it's not critical? No, no one thinks. You have faith in me that if sir is saying that there must be something critical in it. Acha, who has faith in me कि there would be something critical in it? Tell me, guys. It's critical. Now let me explain you how it's critical. For example, a admin has a particular account like admin@gmail.com. I came to know his mail. I would create a typo of this account. As there's no email confirmation, I can change the password of this account, and automatically the password of this account would get changed, leading to a P1 bug, full account takeover. And I can hack anyone's account if I know his her mail, just because of this bug. So this was a really interesting bug. The story would never end of all these bugs. So this is the monkey mind approach, which every hacker should have, and that's what makes you different from the rest. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your support, and hope you guys loved this session.